Welcome back to the channel. If you've been following some of my recent videos, you'd have seen me do a box opening and review of this case. Now this case is the AvP Opius. It's a budget case and it turned out it wasn't too bad. It's quite a good case. I also did a video on the Phanteks vertical GPU bracket. Now what I'm going to be doing today is showing you how to fit this bracket into a case like this. Now there's a bit of work that we have to do, a bit of modification. So I open up the bracket. As I stated in the other video, some cases like this one have all these beams actually fixed in, where other cases you can actually remove that panel and these will just fit straight into those types. For this one you have to do a bit of modification. What we need to do to be able to get that to fit is actually cut some of these mid brackets out, and then it'll actually just slot in and screw straight in. As I stated before in the other video, and if you missed that video, make sure you catch up on it later. Once you do this, you are going to depreciate the value of your case, because without this bracket you're going to have a big hole in the back and your cards, although they'll screw in, they're not going to look right. So we'll just go through the kit of what we've actually got. We've got the case ready, we've got the bracket, comes in that format. We've got a cable which will be used to put the card in and clip into the motherboard, and we have some fancy pads which are going to go underneath the bracket so that there's no sag on the bracket and the weight will actually be held by the bottom of the case. So that's what we've got, and we need a few tools to be able to do this. So I'll pop everything back into the box and we'll start that process now. So flip the case on its side and that'll make it much more easier for us to work on, and you'll be able to see what's happening. For this bracket to fit, it actually uses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 prongs, but you need 7 bays to be able to fit it in, and that's just so that the top and the bottom can actually seat in properly. First thing we're going to have to do is pull out these caps really for the PCIe slots. Now on budget cases like this, they'll just twist straight out, you don't need screw ones. Now that we have the caps out of the PCI slots, we can chuck them away, and what we need to do is we need to cut each beam out so that the bracket can actually fit in. Now to do that we're going to need a Dremel. This is the tool that we're going to use to be able to cut it through. So if we flip it around sideways, so now that we've got them all cut out, what we need to do is, there's a bit of sharp edging on each one of these, is we need to file them out with a file, and then we're ready to test fit our vertical mount. Now that we've filed down all the edges and they're reasonably smooth, we can start fitting the bracket in. Now some of the paint did come off as we were cutting it, which is expected, so what we'll do is we'll clean that up later and we'll dab a bit of paint around just so it all tidies it up nicely. To fit the bracket, it's a little bit tight, and I assume this depends on the case that you've got. What you need to do is just line it up to those back holes, and there's some grips at the back. Push it into place, and the best way I've found is using a screwdriver so that you can get a bit of pressure behind it, is screw it into the existing plate holes. It will go, sometimes it might take a little bit of a wiggle, but they will line up perfectly. Now obviously I haven't fit the rubber pads on this one because I'm just testing it up for size, but once it's in we should be good to go. So now that the bracket's installed and it's pretty secure, we've fit the PCI Express extension on there so you can see where it's actually going to lay. We haven't installed any of the pads yet, but they would typically go under like that. They're one side sticky, so you can still remove them. It's not going to stick anything down, it's just you've got to get the right thickness onto your actual mount. We do get left with a gap at the top, but we can simply fit in one of these. This is a normal PCI Express cover, but you can't fit that until you fit your graphics card. So to fit the graphics card, Now all we need to do is line it up with the PCI Express, click it down into place and pop 2 screws in where you normally would on the top. Now you might need a slightly shorter screwdriver to do this, or you can actually fit your graphics card outside of the case and then fit the mount in afterwards. So I've seen some people do that. It depends how much space you've got in your case. And I won't mount this down because my screwdriver is too long, but I'll show you an example of what it looks like. So your graphics card will be mounted in like that. Then you can put your plate in, which will just lock just over the top of it. Screw that in, and then obviously PCI Express will mount back on itself and into the motherboard. So that's the Phanteks vertical GPU bracket fit into a bit of a budget case that didn't come with it automatically. It looks really good. There's a slight little bit of sag on it at the moment, but I do have thicker pads that I will pad underneath it at some point once I'm sure on which graphics cards I'm going to use in this build. If you look from the back, you'll see the graphics card actually faces out now. You don't need any extra kind of weird cabling like some of the sets that you need because you leave them brackets in. I didn't like that idea. But it actually looks part of the case as it would do normally if it was actually built in. I really like this bracket in particular with this case because if you look at the case, all the venting is a hexagon shape, and so is the venting on the actual bracket itself and the little PCI plate that I've found. So it all blends in really well, looks part of the system as if it was there originally. Now this is a good way of getting a vertical mount into your case because, like I've said before and on the other video, these brackets actually allow you to align your graphics card to the centre of the case, so they're not too close to the glass, they're not too far back, they're just about right. I'm not sure what graphics card I'm going to use in this build yet, but I do have a build in this case, which is why I was fitting this bracket coming up. So if you want to watch that video and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And also like this video if you liked what I did here and how I did it, so that I know to make more videos like this. And also hit me up on social media. I've got Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, Tech Lab, search for it. And you'll find up-to-date moves as we go along with this, because I tend to edit the videos afterwards, but I post incremental updates to social media, so you'll be able to see things earlier on there. And I'll see you again next time.